Good evening yet again. Welcome to the Reckoning Brothers Afternoon Tea with Scott and our producer, Josh. Josh, we just got done recording,
We did.
and you said you had something extremely important that you wanted to bring up.
Extremely important.
Yep. Please proceed.
I don't know. I don't know how best to do this. I have 10, so maybe we just do top 5. What I would like to know is what your top 5 Star Trek captains are.
Easy. You want me to go?
One at a time.
Okay.
We need to discuss and break down.
Are we going to start? Do you want me to start number 1 and work down, or start 5?
Ooh.
Because you want me to start at 5, give me just 30 seconds. Talk amongst yourself.
Start at 5. I will start. How about that?
I'm sorry. So you want to start at number 5?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Number 5 on my list is Anson Mount.
Is who?
Anson Mount. He plays Pike in Star Trek Discovery and Strange New Worlds.
Okay. So you're using the actor's name. I didn't realize you were doing this.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So Pike, the new Pike guy from the newer ones, not Pike from the original J.J. Abrams remake.
Correct. Who
Got
is
it.
number 4? Bruce Greenwood, Pike from the J.J. Abrams series.
Okay, I do like him. I wouldn't even have thought of that guy. So good call then.
All right.
So I'm working on my list here. I've only got the first 2 so far.
Just talking about Anson Mount for a moment. Have you watched Strange New Worlds? Is it Strange New Worlds or Brave New Worlds? I don't remember.
I have not. I heard it was, as a kid say, mid, so I didn't really give it a chance.
It's good. And what I like about it is the humanity that this guy portrays. And he's so in-depth and genuine throughout. And it's really good writing when it comes to his little speeches that he gives. I think you ought to give it a try.
I may give it a try. The dog just farted in here, and it is absolutely disgusting.
Okay.
It is just horrible. And I think he knows what he did, because he's looking at me like, what? What? And you don't know when you get a dog. We got him. He's a dog from the shelter. We went and our dog had died, and it was like a week later, right? So we look at the dogs just to look, right?
Yeah, that's
this little fucker. This little fucker gets out of his cage thing that they have him in, whatever. I don't think they're called cages. Yes, sure, good boy. And he goes up to my fiance and just looks as pathetic and sad as possible. Walks up to her and just puts his head in her lap. And I'm like, well,
sold.
That's it. Taking you home. I'm going to love you for the rest of your life. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you don't know that he's going to fart and is going to be worse than like the rays of 1,000 suns. It's just fucking awful. Anyways, I'm sorry. Please proceed. Pike, humanity.
My shelter dog that I got in June.
Mm.
Same thing. Tears up everything. And it is very, very stinky.
Yeah.
Maybe it has to do with the shelter. I don't know.
I think they got no shame. They got no shame. They weren't raised in the bourgeois lifestyle.
That could be, yeah. Okay.
But I'm sorry. I digest. What was
you digest?
It's from a Family Guy episode.
Okay. Give me your number 5. Give me number 4.
Okay. Number 5 is Chris Pine's Captain Kirk. It was. You got to think 2009 when the Star Trek remake came out. Forget everything that came out. Going to the theater, seeing Star Trek in 2009, Chris Pine fucking nailed it as Kirk. Pretty much everybody nailed it in that movie, I think. But Chris Pine as Kirk, it was just so cool. I never saw Chris Pine before. I love Chris Pine. I thought he was awesome in the Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out a couple years ago.
He was on a Shadow Recruit, I think. He did a CIA thing too. That was really good. I like him.
Wouldn't surprise me that it was good. I hadn't seen that. But he's very charismatic and just a charming guy, likable. He's got that kind of pretty boy, but like his pretty boyness only helps him, like Brad Pitt, and
Mm,
it doesn't bring him down like other pretty boys might.
yeah.
Right. So he's charismatic. He does the part really well. I felt like he wasn't trying to be William Shatner, which was paramount. You can't try to be William Shatner, but
Great.
he was still Kirk, right? And that was people like to shit on the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, and I get it, but he did a really good job. He balanced that really well. I don't know how much of it was him, how much of it was the director. I don't understand. I don't fucking work in Hollywood, but he nailed it to me in that movie. If you look at that movie in a vacuum, number 5 for sure.
Okay. That's a good choice. I agree. He's a fantastic actor, and I really did enjoy that. He's actually my number three. So you move on to
Okay.
four and number two, or number four, number three.
Number 4, Captain Janeway from Voyager. All right, your sexism is showing. Captain Janeway was great. She was okay. Voyager came out in what, 95 or something like that? 96? Okay. So then I think we really can appreciate strong female leader. We're not talking girl boss 2024 that's just be lamer than fucking lame coming out now. We're not talking that Star Wars movie with the chick from fucking Jurassic Park just trying to be like a strong admiral and it just failing miserably and her not getting the point. Janeway got the point. Janeway was a true leader, all right? And this was a female captain coming out in the 90s. She was a true leader. She was stoic when it was cool to be a stoic female captain, but she still had her sexuality, but it wasn't too much. You know, she was kind of a MILF, but it wasn't like too hardcore. She had the will they won't they with Chakotay. What was his name? Chakotay,
Yeah.
who I really liked too. Um, the actor was great. I can't remember her fucking name. Why can't I remember her name? Probably because I drink too much and I'm aging, but I can't remember the actor's name. She nailed it. It was a great show. It was underrated Star Trek show for sure. It did not get the credit that it did, that it deserved. But great role, and there was just something about the way that she exuded power, was still feminine, and she did it right. I wish that Hollywood writers today could be like, oh, you want strong female? Look at fucking Captain Janeway. Do that shit correctly. That's what I think. Hold on, I gotta let the dog. And I'm back. Janeway.
Okay.
True success in a female lead. Take a
Okay.
lesson, current day Hollywood writers. That is how you do strong female leader. Number 3 was, you said your three was Pike. Or no, your 3 was I'm sorry, Chris Pine.
Yeah. I want to
Okay.
talk about Way a little bit more.
Go
I
for it.
felt he was kind of gruff, like very matter of fact, and it was, I don't know. I watched the show. I watched it live. You tell how old I am. You
Hmm.
did too.
I
Uh,
did.
and it would be one of those things where you stay up till 11 o'clock and watch Fox 45 and hope your
Yeah.
parents don't come out of their bedroom. And
Yeah.
it was a good show. I liked a lot of the characters in it. I did like Chakotay. I didn't like Kira. I don't know what her name is. She had the uh, face tattoo thing. Um, she was starts with a B.
So you thought that Janeway was gruff, which I get. I think I could get it rubbing the wrong way. But I don't know, man. She really loved her crew. She stuck up for him.
Balana Torres.
Torres. Okay, Torres. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
didn't care for that one. I did like the Doctor. The Doctor's been kind of
The Doctor was cool.
he,
Neelix was cool.
he does like a Stan Lee cameo on like every single Star Trek. Have you noticed
As
that?
well they should. As well they should.
You've activated the holographic Doctor.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Okay,
that was a cool. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in that show.
yeah. Give me
Like I
number.
said, underrated. Is there anything else you wanted to say about her in particular?
She's number 9.
Okay, she's on the list.
Yeah.
All right.
What's your number three?
My number three is none other than the Captain Benjamin Sisko from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
That's
What's wrong with
number
your
three.
racism is showing? First of all, your sexism is showing.
Number.
Now your racism showing. I love Deep Space Nine. I love Cisco. He had all right.
Oh,
Okay, look at the responsibility of the Star Trek captains. Who had more responsibility than Benjamin Sisko?
I don't. I mean, he had a lot of responsibility. I'll give you that.
I mean, he was basically like a spiritual leader that he was not through no action of his own that he had to take on. I forget what the actual title is that he had. He was responsible for this whole space station,
Okay,
right?
let me just chime in right there because I feel like he was a mall security guard.
Ooh, because he was black, you think he was a mall security
Oh,
guard?
no, the
This
space
is
station was the mall. It was it was the continual like shopping on the promenade and going to Quang's and breaking up a bar fight. That's that's what the show was about. You had the occasional alien infiltration, or you had the I don't remember the Cardassians coming, but it
yeah.
just it wasn't he wasn't a starship captain.
Okay, good point. He wasn't Star Trek captain, but that's kind of what made me like him. He had to deal with a lot of shit, right? And I guess some of it seems more mundane. I get that, but he had his kid there too, so he's raising his kid, trying to make him out to, and he was kind of he was and I liked the guy. I liked the actor. I liked the performance. I liked his voice. Like I don't know. It just it added up for me to put
Yeah.
him high on the list.
Okay.
But I understand your point about Deep Space Nine being a mall, and that that's pretty much true. That is pretty much true. They kind of fucked up there a little bit. There was a lot of yeah. I mean, technically, it's probably Odo's job to break up all the bar fights, but
Yeah,
uh, but
and I
yeah,
didn't like that character either. There's something about his nose and the way that the shape of the makeup that they did. I didn't like that. It bothered me.
the '90s man
No eyebrows is what it was. Yeah,
was not. Julian Bashir was also in that show. I liked him a lot.
yeah. But
Oh
wasn't he in? Wasn't he in Voyager?
no,
Then
I don't
that's
think so.
I've got those mixed up. I've got the Voyager cast and the Deep Space Nine cast mixed up.
Easy to do. What was your number two?
Picard.
Okay,
Uh,
might as well. I'll say my number two. Shatner's Kirk, and your number one was
Archer.
your number one's Archer. The only reason I wanted to go for the list is because my number one was Picard. All right.
Okay.
So you interestingly don't have William Shatner's Captain
In
Kirk on
the
the
top
top
five.
five at all.
No, I do have him. If we were to go and I don't know how to describe this, but if we were to eliminate the '60s series and we were going to go just based upon movies, Star Trek Generations, William Shatner was amazing. I loved that movie.
Okay. It was good.
I didn't like the actual series itself, the original. You go through
You
the movie, but
like the original Star Trek.
no.
Not every episode was a winner, but overall, was it okay? I understand.
Shatner's number six.
Okay, okay. I understand that sometimes we put too much on the original, right? Like sometimes something that starts something isn't as good as we remember, and we want to give it more credit than it deserves because even though its predecessors might be better. I get that. I don't want to suck William Shatner's dick too hard. But there's something about Kirk. There's something about OG Kirk the fight in Spock, that episode where he has to fight that giant reptile creature, and he's got to find all the stuff to make gunpowder so he can shoot it. Stuff like that is so classic, and I do try to put myself in the mindset of the time, right?
That's
Because
it.
in the 60s, you didn't have any of that shit we have now, right? You need to see it from somebody coming up with that shit in like 1964, whenever the fuck it was. It's, or it might have been 1970. I don't even fucking know. It's that matters, right? I think if you really want to look at things realistically, as far as their talent, their skill, you have to grade them on the time curve. And doing that, I put Kirk William Shatner as number two.
Grading on the time curve, I feel like you get more of Kirk's backstory with Chris Pine.
Oh, you definitely. That's just factually true. Yeah, yeah, you do.
And that's where I emotionalize with them. Is I get that extra back end, but it's not the I don't know.
That's
So
fair.
Picard, hands down,
Picard is the best.
he's great.
He
I feel like Archer is better because I have a an emotional attachment to.
sexual attraction to Scott Bakula. Look, I've seen Quantum Leap too. I get it.
No, I mean it's the whole crew. It's Trip, it's Malcolm, it's DePaul, it's Tucker, it's
Fair.
Hoshi, the whole crew. And to what it is he's the first. He's pre Kirk. He's pre Pike.
Okay. True.
He's
And
out there.
that's one thing I really appreciated about that show is how
Yeah,
just early on they're trying to get those subspace things out there. They can't even really talk to anybody until they get it. They're true pioneers. I get it and I appreciate that. That's what makes the show good. And he's not a bad. I would probably put him number 6 on my list, to be
oh,
honest.
okay. He's
So
in.
okay, but Patrick Stewart, Jean Luc Picard is a fucking game changer. He is
I struggle. I struggle with Bakula and Patrick Stewart. I do.
it's monumental in how I think of morality as an adult. Is Patrick Stewart playing Jean Luc Picard? Watching that as a child, it's fundamental. I would be a different person if it wasn't for Patrick Stewart playing Jean Luc Picard in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Really, you think
I
you
have
would be?
everything about it's I when I try to think of anything in the world of arts and entertainment that is moral, that has any kind of moral impact or any kind of impact on me as a person or how I develop morality or values, it's that show number one, far and away above anything else, above
Hmm.
anything my parents ever tried to teach me, above anything the education system ever tried to teach me. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Just so much. They're like, oh my God, dude, the episode where they're trying to get data basically deconstructed so that they can try to make more data, right? Starfleet's trying to do this. So there's a court battle going back and forth as to whether or not Data is a human. That shit is so deep and amazing. I know it's derivative and it's been done before, but to me, that's the first time I ever saw it. And it was packaged in The Next Generation so well, right? And just Picard in that, the way that he's sticking up for Data is amazing. I can't think of anything so impactful to me as something like that. There's an episode where there's a family staying on like a doomed planet and Picard's trying to convince him to leave. I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look this up. And just everything that they go through, the conversation, the episode where Picard lives a whole life.
That's a
Remember
good one.
the
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, amazing. And with the little flute thing, there's nothing comes close to that in any TV. It's also my favorite show I've ever seen. So that probably helps put him up higher. But nothing really does it like that. It's just I don't know if it's our age group. I don't know if it's being a Midwesterner. I don't know if it's me personally. But that the portrayal of Captain Jean-Luc Picard by Patrick Stewart is one of the best thing that's ever been given to humanity. So that's why he's number one on my list.
okay. So we talked on our last episode a little bit about the streamers and how they, kind of kids get attached to them and stuff like that. Are you feeling like that kind of bond with Picard?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So, parasocial relationships. I think it's different when it's a product, right? Than an ongoing actual person. Because as a kid, even I know I'm watching a TV show. I admire him and want to be. It's more like as a kid, it was more like hero worship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, the parasocial relationship, it's different because it's too ongoing. You know, they're always going to come out every day or every week. They're going to come out with something. They're going to come out with something. They're alive. They're a living person. They're responding to people. And, for some of these kids are just hoping that they'll respond to them, you know? So there's some
Yeah,
similarities there, but I don't think it's really the same thing. I think it's healthier to see someone who can't fail you, right? Because they can be an ideal. Like Captain Picard will never fail you. A Twitch streamer is bound to fail you. They're
except
flesh and blood.
Locutus.
Locutus, I don't want to think about. Even as Locutus, that was just another avenue for him to overcome things, right? And how he dealt with Q, right? I mean, this is someone who's a god. He basically outsmarts a god on more than one occasion.
Do we include Riker in on any of this? I mean, just as we're talking about it.
We could go through. I think it's worthy of its own discussion to go through the number ones and who the best number ones are. I don't even think I've seen a list of that. Great idea. Next
Let's do.
time, next list of number ones. I think I already know who's gonna win that, but actually, fuck, I don't.
Now, say
I
number
don't.
one.
I don't know who's gonna win that. I don't know who's gonna win that. I don't.
Say science officer is included in the number one. I would assume.
Spock's a number one. Of course, he's got to be considered as a
Okay.
number one. Yeah.
Nimoy is going to be high up there. He's higher up there than Kirk Shatner is for me.
No, man, you got Nimoy, you've got Jonathan Frakes, you've got fucking Chakotay. Chakotay'd be on that. Fuck. I don't know. There you go. There's a whole ass another list. But I appreciate your
Next,
comparison. And I think that's something to think about. I think I would like to research, do kids are is that kind of hero worshiping that I had for Picard, or you probably had for some
Picard.
KKK founder or something. I'm just kidding. I'm giving you shit. God, Josh is one of the most open-minded people I know. Don't I'm giving him fucking shit. But yeah, hero worshiping or something like Picard, like you or I had. Are kids getting that, or are they too flooded in with parasocial relationships of Twitch streamers, and is that replacing it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Well, fuck, dude. Agree to disagree and agree to agree on other things.
So we have Archer, Picard, Kirk, Bruce Greenwood, Anson Mount, uh, Kirk Shatner, Sonia Martin Green from Discovery. She's a good one. I do like her, but she's further down the list because I haven't seen as many of them. Janeway and Cisco being last.
Okay. I only have five. It's Picard, Shatner's Kirk, Cisco, Janeway, Chris Pine, Kirk.
Okay. Good discussion. I
Good
enjoyed it.
discussion. Good discussion. Happy to have
All
it.
right.
All right,
See you
Josh.
next time. Bye.
Cheers.